Hello, I'm Valerie Maya, the founder of the Women Corner Association of Cameroonian Women in Stockholm. We are here today to celebrate the International Women Day, and we are happy to have you guys here. I will leave my sister Belinda to introduce the group and tell you more about our girls. Thank you.
I am Belinda Munde. I act as the publicity secretary of the group. I make the contacts, but today we are very happy to celebrate the International Day of the Woman here in Stockholm, like any other woman in the world. Our objectives in this group is to bring women together, to sensitize them and inform them of the common problems that we have in the society. Today, we aim at talking about breast cancer and violence against women and children, as well as a national integration amongst ourselves and the Swedish community. We are very glad to see that we came up to this level through the help of all our sisters. We have a group of about 50 members, very active members, committed with a lot of enthusiasm. They help in so many ways to see that we have a day like this. So we want to thank each and every one of our sisters who took part, who sacrificed time and energy and money and their support from left and right to help us see this day. Our sister Quinta will continue to tell us more about this group.
Yeah, I'm a Quinta Sone, also acting just like an assistant for now, together with our sister Maya. I mean, when she came up with this group, I think she had that vision of bringing the women together under one banner, and so together we know we can fight towards common objectives. That was the main aim of the group. And today, it's about 1 year ago, and today we are celebrating International Women's Day together with women worldwide. Or actually, they have different themes to present on this day, but we choose the theme on breast cancer because we saw it as an old way of raising awareness on the deadly disease, which we think our women are still so much ignorant about. I think, like Margaret Thatcher said, if you want to say something, you ask a man, and if you want something done, you ask a woman. So we decided to take this into our hands. I mean, to take the front stage as women. We know when we take the front stage and do things the way we want them done, other better things will certainly follow. On this beautiful day, what can we say? I think it's like a dream come true for all the efforts that has been happening behind the stage. Today we are so happy to be here today. Coming up with, we'll be having some interesting dialogues within the women, and also our men has been invited. And later today we'll be having our dinner within the women and discuss common issues among ourselves. It's like a maiden event for us. It might not be so perfect today, but we know subsequently we will improve on whatever thing we want to add to it. Yeah, thank you so much. Maybe you conclude.
Yes, I will conclude by thanking all our partnership. I will start by AC55 Network, ABF, and also all the men that stood by us for us to be able to make it and successful event. So, and it will come true. So we thank you all. Thank you.
We have a great message for African women. Today, women are striving to be empowered, and we can see women in almost every sector of life. Now we have women as presidents, we have women as politicians, we have women as springboards to the winds of change all over the world, and their productivity is enormous. So the message we have for women this day and for all times is that women should continue to strive to bring a balance and to make the society the way it will be conducive for everyone to be a part of it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bonjour, moi c'est Flore Fossi. Je fais partie des femmes de Stockholm et c'est un plaisir grand pour moi d'être là et de célébrer la fête de la femme avec toutes les femmes de Stockholm et les femmes africaines de Stockholm et les non-africaines de Stockholm. En fait, aujourd'hui, nous avons, sous la houlette de Valérie Maya et d'autres femmes très dynamiques du groupe Woman Corner, WACAMS, nous avons voulu ne pas la laisser passer comme ça. Nous avons voulu nous réunir entre femmes afin de la célébrer et de partager certaines connaissances. Et puis après, les festivités se poursuivront, on va danser et puis c'est un peu ça pour le moment. Comme c'est la première édition, il y aura peut-être des obstacles. On va peut-être pas faire dans la droiture, mais ça va nous enseigner beaucoup pour les prochaines fois. Merci.
Bonjour, moi c'est Adèle et elle c'est ma maman chérie.
Ah, moi je t'adore aussi.
Nous sommes toutes contentes d'être là ce soir. Déjà c'est une toute première fois que les femmes africaines, surtout camerounaises de Stockholm, se retrouvent pour une telle occasion et nous souhaiterons vraiment que ça continue. Déjà ce soir on aura un séminaire à 2 thèmes. Malheureusement peut-être le deuxième, celle qui devait présenter a perdu sa grand-mère, ne sera peut-être pas là. Et en dehors de ça, malheureusement pour les hommes, on a un peu mis les hommes de côté cette fois-ci. Mais la prochaine fois, on va penser à eux. Oui. Et on a aussi tellement beaucoup de choses à faire. La prochaine fois, on va penser pas seulement entre nous, Camerounais, mais les Africaines de la Suède, de Stockholm. Et peut-être pas pourquoi les Suédois. Pourquoi pas les Suédois? Donc, nous sommes vraiment ravis d'être là ce soir. Et nous pensons que nous allons bien se plaire, faire des merveilles. Et que, bon, c'est pas seulement le 8 mars, mais que tout autre jour, que nous soyons toujours femmes dignes. Merci beaucoup. Et heureuses, hein. Merci à ces 55. Et merci au Seigneur qui nous a permis d'être là aujourd'hui et qui continue à veiller sur nous. Je profite aussi pour dire que c'est mon anniversaire. Hein. Donc, même comme c'est la journée de la femme, c'est aussi mon anniversaire. Bon, merci beaucoup pour et bonne fête à toutes les femmes africaines.
Principalement aux femmes camerounaises.
De Stockholm, hein? Oui. Merci beaucoup.
Well, the Women Day, as we all know, it's worldwide celebrated. And like we, the Cameroonian women from birth, we have been taught and educated to know the Women Day. It's a day to educate the woman for empowerment. So I just know it's empowering the woman in general.
Right. It's a kind of very broad topic. But if I want to narrow it down, so I think it's an opportunity to give a woman the right to participate in the social, political, or economical activities in every nation, and this is why the day is being celebrated, not to maybe to celebrate in a way, drinking way or fun way, but to give opportunity to women to think about their future, to think about how they can put themselves together and bring something good for the improvement in every level, in every domain in our societies. So talking about rights, I don't know really what you mean, but I think it's giving opportunity to women to think about themselves, to think about what they can do for the improvement in our society.
That we live in it is dominated by men, if I may say so. So I really think it's a good thing that, because if we look at the equality between men and women, it's not really been equal, if we have to be just. So I think it's but fair that we have this special day for us. I mean, if I look at Women Day in the African context, we really don't feel at equality the same way it is in the European context. Our role as a woman is like in the kitchen, and we are well satisfied with it. So, and I think that's good. But still, we feel like it's a special day that we can like celebrate and let our voices heard also. We don't feel like we are cheated of anything. Me, for one, I'm not cheated of anything. I feel like the man should be the head of the house,
But I also feel like the woman is an important person in the society, and it's just a good thing that we have this day to be heard.
I think it's just a day to recognize women. But if you say the whole year, the women always have their days every day because we are the mothers of this world. So it's not just this particular day that gives us like Women Day. Women Day is not just a day to go out and march, wear the uniforms and drink and have like go to the nightclub, but it's a day to think about their family and to play their role as mothers of the house, not just like the street women. So I think it's high time we stop drinking or sucking alcohol, but it's high time we think about our families. Families first. Equality has to begin from the house, not from outside. Thank you.
Alltså jag vet inte om det finns någon svensk publik som lyssnar till det här, men jag kör bara för att om man tänker på jämställdhet i Sverige jämfört med Afrika, det är två skilda saker. I Afrika är vi helt nöjda, jag kanske bara repeterar mig själv, jag har ju sagt det här på engelska också. Men jag kan bara säga så här, jag tycker det är lite överdrivet det här med kvinnor och män och jämställdhet och bla bla bla, och jag tycker det blir för mycket liksom. Om vi bara liksom var nöjda, för att det går ju liksom att männen kan ju få en viss högre lön än kvinnor, som det tjatas varje dag i media att det är orättvist här. Det kanske är det, men det är ju, vi är ju hemma, vi styr ju lika som män. Det är inte män som de tar inte och stryka oss om du inte gör det här och gör det här. Så man ska ju vara nöjd och ta hand om sin familj och sluta tjata om jämställdhet, för jag är nöjd. Och jag tror det är många kvinnor som är nöjda.
I am happy because my husband shares with me. So I think it's equal. So it's not like I'm being marginalized or something. Yeah.
Je vais
mieux m'exprimer en français. Juste un petit message à mes sœurs camerounaises en particulier et à mes sœurs africaines en général. Je souhaiterais nous femmes de faire très attention à cette journée, qu'il n'y ait pas d'interprétation ratée de l'essence même de la journée de la femme, parce que la journée de la femme est prévue pour rendre hommage à la femme et non pour se comporter de façon très 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 disgracente à l'égard de la femme. Parce qu'on a remarqué que beaucoup de femmes profitent de ces journées pour présenter des comportements vraiment néfastes. Donc, mes chères sœurs, aujourd'hui, c'est l'opportunité pour nous de s'asseoir et réfléchir comment la société africaine devrait développer grâce à la femme. Comment la société africaine devrait avoir une image vraiment positive grâce aux idées développantes, aux idées qui vont contribuer au développement de notre chère Afrique. Cessons de boire, cessons de soulever les cabas, comme on dit très souvent chez nous, et asseyons-nous, mettons nos idées ensemble afin que l'Afrique aille de l'avant. Bonne fête à toutes les femmes. Prenez bien soin de vous.
Cameroonian women in Stockholm here. Again, I really want to welcome everybody who is here. And as we are beginning the occasion, I know the program is already on your tables, but you know, man proposes, God disposes, so we have an amendment to make. On our program, we have first guest speaker, we have second guest speaker, but before the first guest speaker, we'll have an opening speech. Then, for today, instead of 2 guest speakers, we'll have 3 guest speakers. So, before we start with the prayers, I would like to caution us that we'll have, within the talks of the first guest speaker, there will be some response from the audience, and it will not be in the form of a debate, but it will be in the form of contributions, sensitizing us. Where you have doubts, you can ask questions, so the speaker may answer, and if any other person has anything to chip in, we'll gladly welcome you to do so. So, as you can see on the program, it's time for opening prayer. And we are calling on our elder sister here, Madame Biamba, to come and give us an opening prayer.
Let's pray. Thank you, Father, for this day. We give you the glory, O Lord. We thank you for everything, Father, Lord. Father, we commit this occasion into your hands, O Jehovah God. We thank you, Lord, for strength. We thank you for joy, peace, and unity among the Cameroonians women, O Lord. Thank you, Father, O Jehovah God, for our lives. We thank you for our families. We thank you for our husbands. We even thank you for our children, O God. We commit them into your hands, O Father, Lord. We commit this occasion into your hands. We say, Lord, take absolute control in the name of Jesus. Father, in your holy name we pray. We say thank you, Jesus. Thank you for everything. In Jesus' name we pray.
We thank our sister for the prayer. And right away, we are calling on the first guest speaker. She's coming from Amazona, breast cancer for Reninghe, and she has a talk for us. Along the line, if you have anything that is interesting, you can note it on your booklets that are in front of you, donated to us by ABF. So you don't disturb during her talks, and you may only comment or say something when she gives us the floor. Thank you.
Do you hear me without a microphone? Is it okay if I speak without a microphone? Yes. Oh, okay, I can use it, no problem. I think I will forget it, and I will put it down, and I put it back, but we'll see. Hello, everybody. I'm grateful to be here to speak to you from the Breast Cancer Föreningen Amazona here in Stockholm. Technical problems usually. Okay. So, I have some, I think about an hour. I'm not sure I will speak for an hour, but we will see. At maximum 1 hour. And those are the points that I will, the content of this speech, a short introduction. Then I will give you some facts about breast cancer, the disease and treatment, women in crisis, back to work, how we can support, how we can reduce the risk, something about self-examination and the research around breast cancer. Let me introduce myself. My name is Fotini Papaziana, and as you might notice, it's not a Swedish name because I'm not Swedish. My origin is from Greece. I'm 53 years old. I've grown up in Sweden, but I'm not born in Sweden. I'm a mother of 2 boys, 2 sons. They don't like me to call them boys because I think they're men now. The eldest one is 27 years and the youngest is 21. I'm married to a man from Chile, and he has 2 sons of 23 and 16 years old. I was diagnosed with breast cancer in March. Actually, it's not today, the 8th, but around the 8th of March in 2005. In October of 2004, I was at Södersjukhuset and I made a mammography, and they told me that everything was okay. no problem. So I was back home and happy. And in December of 2004, me, my husband, and the family, we went to Thailand for a vacation, and we survived the tsunami by half an hour. We were on Phi Phi Island, and the wave came in, but we were out in the sea, so we were very lucky to survive. In March 2005, one morning in the shower, I felt something in my breast, and I went to the hospital, and they told me that I had breast cancer. 5 months after the mammography. It was a 3 centimeters big lump, and it has to be removed. And there starts my journey with breast cancer. I will get back a little bit to that. You know, when you are diagnosed with cancer, a lot of things start to go on in your head. First thing is, will I die? Because that's a normal reaction. It's, I will just, at that point, in March 2005, I was supposed to organize my son's examination. He was finishing high school, and you know, here in Sweden we celebrated, and I was supposed to be organizing a party in May. I was not supposed to get cancer and get sick and get this crisis. So the world turns a little bit upside down, and you feel very, very depressed, and you feel, well, this is the end. And I thought a lot of my 2 boys. I thought they are too young to be without a mother. So I'm not supposed to die, I thought, but still I have a severe disease. To make a long story a little bit shorter, I can say that I started my treatment in March of 2005 with chemotherapy, and in August I had surgery, and in October I had radiation, and by December I was said to be finished with the treatments and had to go back to normal life. And then starts the difficulties, because normal life is no longer normal, because you're not the same person exactly that you were before. But I knew by facts that a lot of women get well. You beat the cancer. So I had to think positive and think that, well, God had a meaning with me surviving the tsunami. I got the cancer, so I have to survive that too, because I have a family, I have children. And here I am today, 9 years later, and feel very well, and I hope to continue that way. This is the family, and this is for them. You have to, you know, fight and go on. Oh, sorry. If you have any questions, you're welcome during my speech to ask me and interrupt me. It's no problem, okay? Some facts from 2012. 8,400 women in Sweden were diagnosed with breast cancer. We have about 80% are still alive 10 years after a diagnosis. This is figures for Sweden. We have approximately 90% now that are surviving cancer 5 years after the diagnosis. It's the most common cancer for women in Sweden. It's about 30% of all cancer diagnoses in Sweden for women. It's breast cancer. And the figures are that 63% are over 60 years, 3.5% under 40 years. Only 5 women were diagnosed in the ages between 20 and 24. For me, what I knew before I got the diagnosis, breast cancer is something that older women get. I was not especially old then. I thought that when I felt this thing in my breast, I thought that's nothing. It can't be, because breast cancer is old women. That's not the fact. In Stockholm, actually, we know that in the ages up to 25, now we have an increase that is, as the doctors say, dramatical, because we don't know why, but we can see that a lot of younger women get it now. I will tell you a little bit more what can cause breast cancer later on, and we will see about the younger women. I don't know how familiar you are, but there is some women that get it by inheritance. It's in the genes. But as you can see, it's only 5 to 10%. The rest, 95 to 90%, are not inherited cancer. Today in Sweden, there are more than 90,000 women that have had breast cancer still alive. So it's the research around breast cancer is very on a very high level in Sweden, and the treatments as well are very good. So the prognosis is very good in Sweden. You see that it has been increasing. The women affected with breast cancer increases by 1.3% for the last 20 years, but the last 2 years we have an increase of 13%, which is very high, but there are two sides of this. One is that more women go and examine with a mammography or by self-exam, so more cancer is detected. So a part of this 13% is due to that we detect the cancer. And still, it is higher than it has been before.
I have a question.
Yes.
I would like to know, because there are a lot of cases where women tend to realize that they have breast cancer when it's already escalated. How do they know that they have it at the initial stage when it's just pretty much like, say, 1 week or something like that? How do they know that?
You don't. Because I'm coming later on, but I can tell you right now. From the point that, it's a malfunction in the cells, a cancer, not only breast cancer, all cancer diagnoses due to, you have a malfunction in your cells, they start to separate and live their own not under the normal circumstances. So from that mutation starts until you have a cancer detectable, at least for breast cancer, it can be up to 10 years. So, and detectable, it might be, some millimeters that you can see in a mammography. But that journey might be 10 years. So you cannot detect the cancer that are weak, but you can detect the cancer by mammography that are just some millimeters, and then you have almost 100% sure that you will get rid of it and you will be okay. The earlier you detect it, the better.
So you suggest that all women should either go for tests and see whether they have it or not?
All the women that get, at least here in Sweden, from the age of 40 and up, you have mammography screening. You should always go to your mammography screening. That is a life insurance, I say. But nevertheless, I am a living example. They didn't detect it. Because my brother is a doctor, and after I got my diagnosis, I asked him to go back and look at my mammography. Did they miss it? Was it there and they didn't see it? But no, it wasn't. I had a very aggressive cancer that came very quickly, and it was escalating very quickly. So it is not, you have always to examine yourselves as well, not just rely, I made my mammography, so I'm okay. This is the negative thing. About 1,500 women in Sweden die from breast cancer every year. And not so usual, but nevertheless, 45 men per year are diagnosed with breast cancer. And this is not very common, but it is some men that get it. So the symptoms, you have actually a lump in your breast, you might have sore breasts, some fluid coming out from the nipple, or it's found on self-examination or during mammography. When detected, there is always a three-way diagnosis, as we say. That is, you get screening, the mammography, and also you have a test that by needle they take cells and examine to make sure it is or not a cancer. Okay. The breast cancer usually starts in milk ducts or mammary glands, as they are called. This is either in here or in there that you get the breast cancer. That's where it starts. We make a difference between cancer in situ, as we say, or invasive cancer. And that is depending on where the cancer starts. This is details and facts that might not be very interesting, but you have to understand that depending on where the cancer starts, it might also make the difference how aggressive it becomes and how quickly it will spread to other organs. But immediately when you find something in your breasts, you have to search for medical knowledge and expertise. The interesting, a lot of people are asking is, why do we get breast cancer? And also, why do we get breast cancer more often now, today, than they used to have maybe 50 years ago or 100 years ago? It's not true that they had less breast cancer, they just didn't know that they had breast cancer. They died before detecting. But some influences make us get cancer more often today. About the age, well, as I told you, the elder we get, the more malfunction there might be in our cells. And this is not specific for breast cancer only. Hormones. For some years it has been very popular to give women estrogen. I think it's that in English as well. Estrogen. And we know that it has a correlation between the cases of cancer are getting more often than before. So it has an affection. So do we recommend that women do not get estrogen? Yes. It is a decision. It's not sure that you will get cancer because you have estrogen, but it might affect the risk. Overweight and lack of exercise is also something that we know today, that lack of exercise is a risk factor. Overweight is a risk factor. We need to maintain a healthy lifestyle. The hereditary preposition, as I told you, 10% might have the genes. That today, if you have in your family at least 2 persons, 2 women in your family that have had breast cancer in at least 1 to 2 generations back as well, you might have a predisposition. That is not 100% sure, but you might go and get an exam, because today we can, by taking a cellular piece, we can know if you have the predisposition. So you might know that you have a higher risk, and it's your decision what you want to do. Some women decide before they get anything to remove their breasts. Very dramatical and very drastic decision. But for them, it's something they think it's okay to do. Others say, okay, I know, so I have to make an exam every year. I have to be very careful and keep up the checkups. It's radiation is something that we also know. In areas where it's higher radiation, we know it's more often to get cancer, breast cancer as well, cancer in general. Stress is very negative for all of us in all ways, but we know also that stress, people living under a high level of stress are more in a risk group for cancer.
I just want to ask a question.
Yes.
I think when you kind of explain all these points, when it comes to stress, I would like to know what generates cancer if you have stress. There should be some kind of, stress hormones that can cause all this stuff. So I think they need to know that this is basically what happens when you have stress.
The stress hormones, yes, and it's, for example, for quite a long time we know that stress might cause, what do you say it in English, stomach ulcer?
Yeah.
Yes, that we have known. What we have not known is, but now through a lot of research, they know that stress hormones actually start all those malfunctioning in our cells. So it's not just that that you nowadays think, okay, stress is bad, so sure we get ill by stress. Now we can prove that the stress hormones start the mutations of cells as well. Yeah.
I have a question on the symptoms in relation to the case. You said you felt something. Can you a little bit say what you felt? Describe it in a simple context.
For me?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, I can tell you. I know why I got cancer. No, I don't know. But I think I had a very 8 years before I got my cancer diagnosis, I had a very, very bad experience, very stressful experience through a very painful divorce, which was for at least 6 months, and I felt really, really, really bad. And I think that started a process. I mean, it has nothing to, it was something that happened in me. I couldn't handle the situation, and I was very stressed, and I felt, you know, the anxiety of what will happen, and with the children, and with the work, and with all those things. And also, I think for me, I did not have any, at that time, even though I'm bigger today, I did not have any overweight or lack of exercise. I have no hereditary disposition. No one in my family had had breast cancer for generations. I did not have any hormones, so I could, you know, I could tick a lot of those things. I don't think I lived in a radiated environment because I live here in Stockholm. I don't know if it's especially a lot of radiation. I don't think. This one I could relate to because before the divorce I also had, I worked at IBM. I had a very nice career, you know, flying all over the world, and I lived a very, very, very stressful life. I think that sure affected me. No, well, at the time I did smoke, might have affected. No alcohol consumption, breastfeeding, yes. Breastfeeding is not a negative thing. Breastfeeding is positive. So you should breastfeed your children because that diminishes the risk to get breast cancer. Also, a positive effect on not getting breast cancer is to have children young. The younger you have children, the better for the risk not to get breast cancer. And every pregnancy lowers the risk. That we also know. The psychological factors, I don't know really, because psychological it can be a very wide range of factors. Of course, if you're not happy, your cells are not happy.
Yeah,
maybe.
I would want to say something about radiation. I would say that I think that living in Stockholm is a high probability of having cancer because wherever you go, you don't declare radiation. Because in a cumulative form, in the long run, you might cumulate this and get it right. As compared to Tech, where we don't really have radiation issues there because we don't have all these huge industries and stuff like that.
That's true. And of course, living in big cities with all the pollution, sure it affects in every way.
Maybe that breast implants can increase the risk of cancer.
They are searching for it. They don't know, but what we do know about breast implants is it's much more difficult to detect breast cancer. So maybe you don't get breast cancer, but when you get it, it takes much longer time to detect it. So you might have a higher risk of not having a very happy way out of it, because for self-examination it's very difficult, almost impossible to detect it. On mammography also it's not very easy. They have to make the mammography in a little bit different way to find out. So that over the years, probably it will be interesting with research because they have women, a lot more women get breast implants. So over the years we might see the results. Today we're not sure on if it has an impact.
Okay, is the mammography free or they need to pay something to do that?
The mammography in Stockholm is for free. But it's not that in all the parts of Sweden. Yeah.
I wish to know, you talk about the hereditary factors, and at the same time you say you have to be like 40 before you go to the mammography test.
Yeah. chocolate.
If like
I have to make appearance that over 40, every woman in Stockholm gets this letter home. Please come for mammography. But you can call anytime if you think that, okay, I know that in my family I have an aunt, I have a cousin, I have somebody, and I would like to know. You don't have to wait till you're 40. It should be for free. I will show you.
You talk about the importance of breastfeeding kids that will reduce the risk of. When you look at the other way around, a woman who has been or who is not diagnosed of breast cancer, and who has it, when she's breastfeeding, there's not a risk of infection of the milk.
No, nothing. There is no risk at all.
I have a question here because I know cancer is like when you have excess, fast, your cells grow more than the normal way. And not often you mentioned that radiation is one of the causes. But I also know that one other treatment for cancer is radiotherapy. So they use the same X-ray and other ways. So what the contradictions? So I want to know exactly how it works.
When we talk about radiation, it's pollution, it's a different kind of radiation in the atmosphere. When we go for radiation for therapy, it's the X-rays, special kind of X-rays that kill the cells. They kill the cells, and for example, I am radiated after my chemo and surgery. I had the chemo first because since my cancer was very fast growing, they had to stop it from growing. And the most effective way is chemotherapy. So I had chemotherapy for 6 months, lost my hair and everything. And then I had the surgery. And after the surgery, the X-rays, and I'm X-rated from here until here, because they wanted to make sure that there were no more cancer cells in this area, actually. Because I was lucky that I didn't have any cancer cells in my liver or in the rest of my body. Because when you are diagnosed, the first thing that they do here in Sweden is that you have to make some extended examination, so to find out if, the first spreading of cancer, if you get it from your breast in your lymph nodes, we have lymph nodes in different parts. If you get it there and it starts spreading, you might get it in your liver. And if you have it in your liver, you will have it in your blood. And if you have it in your blood, you can have it anywhere. So they start examining with an ultrasound your liver to make sure that it's nothing there. Because if it is something there, they have to focus on treating the liver as well.
Yeah, because I had a friend, this one he had, I think he was detected, he was a man, he was detected cancer. But later on, maybe I don't know, it was a poor method that they have in Africa. So he was diagnosed, and then they started immediately with this radiotherapy, and it was very, very harsh on him. So he was fair, and he became suddenly very black, not up to 1 week.
You can get
so he
very
died.
bad burns from X-rays. Today, I forgot the microphone today. The methods here at least, I don't know, here in Sweden, they have very good methods on concentrating on the cells but not burning the skin.
That's chemotherapy, right?
Chemotherapy is something different. It's, you get this stuff in your body through the blood to kill but then you kill healthy cells as well. That's why you feel very bad. You feel very tired because it's hard on all the body. But the cells that are not sick, they repair themselves quicker than the sick ones. The sick ones die. Yeah. This one is really not. This is what I found, though. I searched a little bit on internet, and it's about 10,000 new cases in Cameroon of cancer. As you see, 12% of the patients are less than 20 years old, and 60% are between 40 and 70 years. Liver cancer is on top in Cameroon. It's 20%, skin cancer 15%, and breast cancer is 11% of all the cancers diagnosed. For men, liver cancer; for women, breast and uterine cervix predominate. Also, there is this Pink Pearl Foundation that have a campaign, Two Breasts Are Better Than One, it's called. It started in, I think, some couple of years ago, and trying to raise the awareness of breast cancer and the treatment.
I just want to say something.
Yeah.
As far as Cameroon is concerned, recent research from the UN showed that majority of the people that dies there, they don't die of HIV. Cancer kills them more than HIV because people don't diagnose it early enough. And in the whole of Central Africa, it's only Cameroon has one machine that tests and is not even efficient. So my question is, if these organizations are going there just to educate people, how does that help?
I think what they are trying to do now is to screen for breast cancer. Because just educating is, you can tell people it's important to self-examine your breasts, but to make sure that you get results is, of course, to have some screening, mammography. And I think what they're trying to do is to have some machines there to get women to screen. That's what I know, as far as I know, but I have no details.
Another question. I think these Cameroonian women, they are very interested to work with organizations like yours, because the issue in Cameroon is not about the education. How could we together see how we could acquire some? I know that there are a bunch of different machines in terms of trying to test this cancer in Cameroon or in Africa. How could we do that in collaboration with your organization?
I think what we can do is start, well, I suppose you know the needs. We might help to get the means. That's what we can do, because we don't know the needs, actually. We don't know the
There's a question here, please.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay, I didn't hear the part that you said when you got the cancer. What did you notice on your breast that made you
the symptoms, what I felt?
Yeah.
Oh, actually, I didn't feel anything. One morning I was in the shower, and I was washing myself, and I felt, this is a little bit strange. 3 weeks earlier, I went in the north of Sweden with the children to go skiing. And I like to go, the slopes, and I fell. And I had this, the stick when you go skiing. And when I fell, I hurt myself a little bit. And when I felt this in the shower, I thought, oh, this must be from the skiing when I fell. That's why I feel something here. But on the other hand, what I thought was, this does, when you feel your breast, they have a lot of different things, and you don't. Yeah, well, it's a very hard lump. It's not like the rest of the tissue of your breast. When you have it, you know it. And when you feel it, you have to go and examine it. Because it does not have to be cancer. Remember that. Yes, normally.
Really hard.
It's different from the rest of the tissue. I know it's very difficult to know. But you know, if you're anxious, call and go and get a mammography. It's a good way. And ask the doctor, please, can you help me to examine my breast? Because I don't know. How is it supposed to feel? This we have already talked about the occurrences. The mortality is decreasing. I'm sorry, I have to do. I've already talked to you about this, I think, but I will repeat. The treatments for breast cancer are surgery, most common. Depending on how big this cancer lump is in your breast, in Sweden today, most of the surgeries is they don't remove your breast, they just take a part of it. And they are very, very successful doing so because they have the way to know if you have to remove all the breast or not. And as you know, for women, it might be a very big issue to remove your breast. It's a bit of your identity. Your breasts is your, you feed your children, you feel like a woman because you have your breasts. So it might be very, very dramatical but important to know is that in Sweden today you get a reconstruction almost immediately. If you have to remove your breast, you have a reconstruction. So it's within 3 months you get a reconstructed breast. So, but if they can save it, they do. Me, for example, I didn't have to remove. They just took part of it.
Excuse me. When you talk about reconstruction, is it like an organotopic culture that is replaced, or how does it work?
The reconstruction, it can be made with different ways. One way is that you have, I don't know the terms in English very well, but I will try to explain. You take a part from your body and you module a breast. Another way is like when you have implants. They give you an implant. Because since it's removed, you have no risk of getting cancer there again. Radiation, common. Chemotherapy I've talked to you about. Hormone treatment. When you remove the cancer, they know if it is a hormone dependent or not. Hormone dependent means that it grows by getting estrogen. Not all cancers are this. If it is, they give you a hormone treatment. That means you remove your estrogen from your body. I had that for 5 years. You get a pill every day, which means that your body cannot, it produces estrogen, but the cells cannot benefit of it. This is very effective. When you have a hormone-dependent breast cancer, it's very effective to remove the estrogen because it means it has no chance to get back, to grow.
Excuse me.
Yep.
Among these two things, which do you think is best? Which is best? Yeah, and like takes a shorter time to.
It depends. It's a bad answer, but it depends really because if you have a stage 1 cancer, as we say, stage 1 it's very small. You detect it very, very early. You might have surgery, just remove the cancer tumor, and might be fine with that. You might also need radiation, but you might not need chemotherapy. Chemotherapy is very hard on your body. So when they can avoid it, they do avoid it. But you know, it depends really how early you detect the cancer, what kind of cancer it is, how it is growing. Even if it's early detected, if it is a very aggressive and fast growing, you might need chemotherapy just to make sure that you suppress it and it stops growing. So it's no...
And the radiation treatment, is it not dangerous for other cells in your body?
Of course it is.
It kills some of the cells as well?
Yes. No good answer, is it? I know. For me, since I had radiation from here until up here, all my lymph nodes here, they are almost gone. They are almost not functioning anymore. Which means that the rest of the lymph nodes has to work extra hard to maintain the function. It depends on, and even though it might sound very bad or dramatic, but you know, when you're diagnosed with cancer, you're very happy to survive, so you don't care very much. So I'm very happy. I'm not happy because this is something that affects me. For example, I work at you know, the insurance company Folksam. You know it? I don't know. Well, I work there with product development. So I work a lot with my computer. So working in a computer is, for everybody, if you sit many hours, it's hard on your body, your arms, you feel a little bit. Since I have this malfunction, it's even heavier for my arm, so it might get a little... Ooh. Let the party begin. It might get swollen. You know, the arm gets swollen because the malfunction here, but it's the cost that I had to pay for being here. So. The antibody treatment, I'm not going to talk very much about it because it's very specific. It is if you have generic predisposition, hereditary predisposition, you might have. All of this is a little bit of a repetition because I've already talked about this. Prognosis, size of the tumor. Size of the tumor means the smaller the tumor, the earlier you have detected it, the better the prognosis. The grade and stage. We have different grades when we talk about breast cancers and stages. Number 1 is the small ones. Number 2 is a little bit bigger. Stage number 4, you have a very aggressive and very big cancer. So you have from 1 to 4. The earlier you detect it, the better, always. The dissemination in lymph nodes. As I talked to you, the cancer spreads through the lymph nodes. So if it affects the lymph nodes, it might go on in the body. I have some lymph nodes in my arm here that they had to remove because there were cancer cells in there. They were only there. They didn't go further on, but they were there, so they have to remove the lymph nodes. And the hormone receptors. Is it hormone receptive? Yes or no? If it is hormone receptive, it is very good because, as I told you, you eat the pills, remove the estrogen, the risk for it to grow back is small. The HER2 positive it's also, I'm not very good in explaining HER2 positive because some of the cancers are positive to a specific hormone, and that too can be treated because we have medication today. Radical surgery, that means removal of your breasts. The prognosis are very good if you decide to remove the breasts, but not all of us want to do that. Well, this is only for breast cancer. Specific breast cancer is a very specific cancer that is might be hormone positive. It reacts on hormones. I just wanted to show a picture of, the sizes of breast cancer. When we talk about 1 centimeter, it's good to relate. A battery, is 5 centimeters. So you can have a picture in your mind. 1 centimeter, 3 centimeters, 5 centimeters. As we talk, when the doctors talk about this is a big cancer when it's 5 centimeters. I have talked about this. The heredity predisposition, it's only 4 known genes. We know only 4 of the genes that make breast cancer. And I've talked about the percentage of those known genes. We have an increased presence in some families. It comes from both sides. It's important to remember it's not only from your mother's side that you can inherit breast cancer. It might be on your father's side as well. So if you have relatives on your father's side that have breast cancer, you might have a heredity. And this is how we define 3 or 4 relatives in the same part of the family in at least 2 generations. It might be breast cancer or ovarian cancer. Important, at least one is 50 years or younger. It is also for the definition of heredity. You asked me about the radiation. Important to remember that here in Sweden, if you have breast-conserving surgery, that means you don't remove your breast, you have to be radiated. It's offered. You can always say no. You can say no to any treatment, but it is offered. And the other alternative is that you have at least 1 lymph node that is disseminated with breast cancer cells. And the larger than 5 centimeters, they have all treatment. This is known. The most important parameters for better survival. We talked about the reconstruction, where you take a part from belly and make a breast. Yep.
Please, I would like to know the after effects of the chemotherapy on a woman who after the treatment. Can a woman have a baby?
Important question, of course. Can a woman have a baby after you have a chemotherapy? Yes, you can, of course. You get the alternatives. Just the chemotherapy will not, during the period that you get chemotherapy, you will not be able to be pregnant, of course. After the chemotherapy, you normally, if you are not in menopause, you will get back your functions. But they do not risk it. So here in Stockholm, you are offered to take out some eggs and preserve them in order to be able to get pregnant, so that you can be sure. Is that an answer? Because some, yeah, you know, younger women, you don't know, you will get, it can take half a year, 2 years, but you will get back to normal as you were before. But since your eggs might not be in the same condition as before, you are offered to take out some, preserve them, and if needed, use them. So it depends. If you cannot succeed to get pregnant without help, they will help you with your own eggs. Yeah?
Another question. If you have a sister that is pregnant, and why being pregnant, they also realize that she's having breast cancer. Is it possible for her to have a baby before she starts having?
That happens. It has happened that while they are pregnant, they are diagnosed with breast cancer. And what you do is you try to maintain the pregnancy, to give birth, and then you start the treatments.
But does that affect the child?
No, not the cancer. No way.
Just with this question, I'm not sure if it's in this, but I have heard that actually when you are pregnant, you are like in reduction. Is it true that cancer stops? Not stop, but
it does not develop.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's why they can wait until you give birth, and that you can have cancer, but it's not growing or spreading because of the pregnancy. And they always try to keep the baby, give birth, and then you start your treatments.
But have we understood why it is like that? Just to help us in the treatment, why is it that when we are pregnant, it stops? Has there been some kind of research?
I don't know. I don't know, Benzi. It might be, but I don't know.
I just need an advice from you.
Sorry, I
need an advice from you as somebody has been sick. I'm working with cancer patients. Some of my patients are cancer patients. So when they come from the doctor, when they get the diagnosis, they come to me to take their blood sample. Some of them just start to cry and want me to say something. I don't know what to say.
Okay, yeah, sure. We are coming there because I will get back to your question, okay? Because I have it here. Yeah.
I wanted to ask if breast cancer free, like if you have to move the breast, for how long will you be to be sure that you are cancer free?
In that breast, you will never get it back.
So you are cancer free?
Yeah, that's why they call it radical, because you get rid of your breast. A lot of women, I don't know if you heard me before, but that has a hereditary disposition. That means you have it in your family, and you can have a check, an exam, so they can tell you if you have it, the predisposition. A lot of women that do know that they have it, they will get cancer in some day, in 1 year, in 10 years, in 40 years. They decide to remove their breasts, because that means you cannot get cancer. So removal means it's over.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
I read in the newspaper some months ago that this lady had cancer. She was pregnant, but she didn't know that she was pregnant. And then she had to undergo chemotherapy. And then they discovered that she was pregnant 6 months after. So she actually had a baby, a healthy baby. How possible is that? Is it a miracle or is it medically possible to?
Probably it is medically possible, but I don't know. I don't think it's a miracle, because I think that our body is constructed in that way that when you're pregnant, the body first protects your baby, and then the rest of. So I think that's one reason, because the body makes sure that that is not affected. And then, but if they knew that she was pregnant, they wouldn't give her. Yeah. Normally, we don't give chemotherapy to somebody that is pregnant. It's a too high risk, I think, and I don't think it. I'm happy to hear that her baby was okay because it might affect. You don't know. Yeah. Yeah.
Because I have seen somebody who had cancer before and the breast was removed and the person still died. Is it that the cancer affected the person who got the breast but not removed? Because I've seen cases where, that's why I asked you that if, how long must you be to know that you are cancer free?
Okay. Do you hear the question or do I need to repeat it? Because somebody that got the breast removed and still they died after that. The possibility might be either it was spread from the breast to the lymph nodes and onward, so that doesn't make any difference if you take away the breast or not. To be cancer-free, when you're diagnosed with cancer, after 5 years, if you survive 5 years, they say you are cancer-free. That means, for me today, for example, if I get a new cancer diagnosis, it will not be related to my cancer that I had 2005, because it's too many years. If you get it within 5 years, then it is related to your first diagnosis. After 5 years, you're told to be cancer-free, and the possibility is not higher for me to get cancer than for anybody else, but if I would get it, it is a new cancer diagnosis, not related to the first one. Yeah.
So you used to go for diagnosis? You used to go for diagnosis after 9 years?
Yeah. I am a very... I was shocked to get this cancer diagnosis. So during the first 5 years, I went every 4 months to get examined because I was afraid, very afraid. Now I go every year. Once a year I go and I have a big checkup with the mammography, and my doctor has to search everything. So I want to be calm.
There's a difference when it comes to prevalence of cancer between races. Is there any difference or disparity between Caucasian or black or black race?
We do know there is a difference. Asian people get less breast cancer. Asian people.
What about the triple negative cancer?
The triple negative cancer, what is that?
The 10 years strains of cancer which affect mostly. Like in the United States, it affects mostly African Americans.
I don't know. I cannot answer you on that. What I do know is for breast cancer, Asian women, in Japan for example, they have very little breast cancer. Very little. And I think this is not, you have to take it with a little bit of, I don't know how you say it in English. I'm not sure, but I think that European women are more affected with cancer than, for example, African women. I think so, but I'm not sure. What I do know for sure is that Asian women get less breast cancer. And we think it might be related to nutrition. They think. They're studying. Because on the other hand, Asians has a lot of higher percentage of stomach cancer. Also related, I think, to food. Yeah?
How about the fact that probably the disparity between Africa and European people, because the prevalence within the African community is not that close.
Yeah, sure. What we are talking about is you study, when they study to see those trends or risks, they make a study on a couple of thousand of people, of course, and they follow them, so they will be diagnosed. For the rest, yeah, sure, but you have a population that you examine, 5,000 Europeans, 5,000 Africans, but you examine them every 3 months, so you can see whether they are affected or not. I don't know how many thousands of people they have done the studies, but it is within the groups they are studying, of course, because for the rest...
Okay, if I may say, from what I understand, cancer is not racist. But cigarettes, the type of food we eat, and you also said something, you are happy, your cells are also happy. Maybe that's where cancer comes.
Yeah, so the conclusion is that European people are unhappier, eating worse. I don't know.
Excuse me, there's a question here. It's still concerning pregnancy. That's a question about when you talk about cancer and pregnancy. I need to get a clarification because I had a friend who was she wasn't diagnosed with cancer before she got pregnant, but later she got pregnant and the cancer became very aggressive, and then she died after the baby. What relation or how is it connected with the baby? And
It is not connected with the baby, it is that she had an aggressive kind of cancer. Baby or not. The difference might be that if she didn't have a baby in her, maybe she could have a more aggressive treatment, and in that way maybe she could have a better result. But it's not related to having the baby or not, the cancer. The cancer itself was probably very aggressive. And being pregnant, probably they couldn't give her the treatment, the aggressive treatment. I would say, I don't know.
yeah, then we got the wrong information because the doctor said the cancer became so aggressive because she was pregnant.
No, definitely not. Okay, the reconstruction, we talked about it. You can get your own body material or you can have a reconstruction with the implants. I want to talk to you a little bit, and now we're coming into this, how do we react? And this is a common, it's not specific for breast cancer. When you get a crisis, the reaction is 4 phases that we go through when we have a difficult thing happening in our life, or we get in a shock. That's the immediate reaction. Second is, we call it, we have written reaction. That means that after the shock, when you're paralyzed almost, the reaction might be you get depressed, you get very sad, you get very introvert, the reaction might be very different depending on the personality that you have. Some want to talk about it, some doesn't want to talk about it at all. The third phase is the process. The process means that you start to not accept really, but you have the facts. You might start talking about it, and then the next phase is that you are thinking of what is going to happen. What can I do? I need treatment. Okay, I have to get my treatment. I need to have chemotherapy. Okay, I get it. And the fourth phase is the reorientation. That means the life, what happens after this. So I had my shock, I get the reaction, I cry, or, and then I'm in the process of what has happened to me. I have the cancer, I need to do whatever is told me. And after that is, what am I going to do after this? does the healthcare offer? They offer a fantastic medical treatment.
But one thing before the healthcare, after the doctor, when the patient gets a shock, and the next person the patient meets, and the patient expects me to say something. What do I say to them?
I will tell you what we'll say. Give me a moment. When the medical treatment is over, you feel worse. How come? Well, when you have a severe disease, it's very comforting to be in the hospital. You have the doctors, you have the nurses, you have the expertise around you. They give you what they think you need. You feel that somebody who you hope knows what they're doing, they are occupied with you. After the treatment, you're all alone. You have nobody because you are finished. They say, okay, you had the chemo, you had the radiation, you had the surgery, you are okay, thank you, go home. We're finished with you. So you have not much of a support afterwards. You feel quite bad because you are in a new situation. You have had this very hard experience, but you don't know what comes now. How can you support? It might affect a friend of yours, a family member, an employer, a colleague, whatever. So how do we support? This comes in. The first that we say is listen, listen, and listen. Many times people just need to talk about it. They don't really expect you to say anything. You just need to talk about this over and over again, and somebody that listens and is interested in listening to you. Maybe you can follow to go to the medical appointments, because when you are in the shock, when you get the diagnosis, from there until you start to react, you don't remember much of what happens to you. You don't remember to ask all those questions that you need to ask. You don't remember what the doctors say to you. You don't actually get much of the information because you're in a shock. So many times it's very valuable to follow your friend who is diagnosed to the doctor and sit there and ask the questions that she should ask, but don't think of asking. You understand what I mean? It's a support to have somebody with you because you feel very vulnerable when you are in that situation. You can search for information and knowledge, because this is also different reaction. For me, when I got the diagnosis, I myself wanted to know as much as I could. So I searched for a lot of information. They don't have the courage to search and to find out and to read. So many times it might be a support that you search for information for them. Practical help. After having a chemotherapy, you have not much courage to occupy yourself with practical things such as, I don't know, go to ICA and buy milk, or go get the kids from the nursery, or you can need help with anything because you don't have the courage to do it. That might be a help. We write here, make funny things. You know, when you're diagnosed with cancer, you live with it 24 hours, 7 days a week. It's in your head, it's in your body, it's in your mind, it's in your whole life is about cancer. So it's important for some moments to forget about it, to do something else, to go for a walk, to go to cinema, to do something else than speak and think cancer. Yes?
I want my patient to stick his cue up. What do you think about that?
Curator? Yes. That's also very different from person to person. I wanted to have a curator to go and speak to, but when I met her, I thought, no, I cannot go to her because she was the kind of person that I couldn't stand, so it was not much of a help. I needed somebody not, just tell me, oh yes, I understand, oh yes, I understand, because I needed somebody to give me some advice, something concrete to hold on to, but she was not that kind. So, but others have had much better curator. The Breast Cancer Association that I'm here from, Amazona, offers that kind of help. We have a phone number you can call anytime if you want to speak, if you want to ask questions, if you just want somebody, because everybody that answers that phone has had breast cancer. So it's not, you talk theoretically how you would feel, you know how it feels. So that might be a support. Yes, you were not here in the beginning. 45 men are diagnosed every year in Sweden. Yes. So it does not depend on the size of the breast. Normally, you cannot work. And that also depends from person to person. Some persons feel very good to go back to work very early because they need the social, appearance of people around them. Some don't feel very well. It depends on the treatment. It depends on how you feel psychologically. A lot of things. In Sweden, you can have sick leave. I don't know now with the new laws here in Sweden, I'm not sure how many days you're allowed to be out of work when you have a cancer diagnosis. This depends on who is the person at Försäkringskassan that handles the matter. But nevertheless, what we know is that at least 50% do not work for the first 6 months. And it's depending on, these are things when you are back to work. It might be important to think about how your lifestyle, a healthy lifestyle, not so stressful, and of course it's something that all diagnosed with cancer think about, the fear of relapse. Some of the things that you might have to live with is fatigue, lymphedema. This is a lymphedema. Can you see what it is? It's a hand. When the nodes don't function, you can get like this. This is not very common. No. You might also have difficulty concentrating because you might be affected from the chemotherapy, that you are very tired and difficulties. But these are things that pass. You might be affected of the chemotherapy, as I said, and the radiation. The body image might change. The hair. I told you I lost my hair. Through the chemotherapy that was 6 months, I didn't have any hair. Many women react very differently on not having hair on their head. I didn't have anything. I was without hair, without wig, without anything, because for me it was the best thing for my psychology, because when I didn't have anything, I didn't think of not having hair. Because when I had the wig, I was very conscious that I did not have any hair on my head. But for everybody that met me, it was shocking, of course, to see me without hair, but I didn't think about it. So it was easier for me. For others, they cannot even imagine 1 second to go out without a wig or a scarf or something. That might be, you have to do it the way that suits the body image. The medication that you get very swollen up. You get very, you don't look the way you used to look. But this passes also through the years. I'm sorry, I'm past the time.
It's interesting.
Risk reduction. Avoid hormone therapy. I told you about the estrogen. Exercise regularly. Healthy lifestyle. Less stress. And this is not just to avoid breast cancer, I think. Early detection, though, that is important. Always go for your mammography. Find out if you have dense breasts. What does that mean? Well, dense breasts means that the tissue of the breast is very, very, in English, very difficult to explain. In the mammography, they can tell you if you have dense breasts or not, and it is about the tissue in your breasts. So, if you have dense breasts, it's harder to detect tumors. It's important to know that, and they can tell you when you go for mammography. Breastfeed your children. Avoid overweight. Yes. How do we make a self-examination? I have some pictures that will show you how to make a self-examination. You have to be in front of a mirror. It is easier. You have to stretch up your hands. You have to... I go back to the corner. When you stretch up your hands, you have to look at your breasts, and if you do this regularly, you will know the image. How does your breast look in front of a mirror? So, you know if you get a redness, if you get irritated skin, that might be a sign of having breast cancer. It is not, but it might be. So you have to know how you look. You have to stand in front of a mirror. When it comes to the examination, you have to lay down and you have to make the circular moves around your breasts. This are some pictures. What I would recommend you is, if you feel, I say it again and again, if you feel the slightest anxiety that you don't know how to examine your breasts, you don't know if there is anything, go to the doctor and ask them for help. Go to Vårdcentralen, make an appointment, make a mammography, ask for a mammography, ask for a nurse or a doctor to show you on your breasts how to examine them. It is important to do this. Yeah.
Can wearing bracelets always come to, can if you wear bracelet like always, will it cause cancer or will it cause cancer?
No section. So, the last pictures here. Why do we need a cancer association as the one that I come from? We are a complement to the healthcare system. We do not occupy ourselves with healthcare because healthcare is the doctors, the nurses, we are a supportive organization. We are for the patients. So that is, what we can do, we can support women that are diagnosed when they have questions. If they need somebody to go with them to the hospital, or they don't have the knowledge, they don't understand what is happening, we can help them. Get started help. Yeah, we can help you start, this journey that you have ahead of you. We can explain a lot of things that would happen during a diagnosis and the treatment. We collect money for research. This in October, like the pink color that you have on the chairs, we have the pink October. We collect money for research, for breast cancer research every year. What we also do is that we make demands to the healthcare system how to better take care of women. This is not very important. I will just slide through this and tell you that we have about 12,000 members in the organization. So,
this small question. My main concern has been back in Africa, because when I read this, when I went to a conference about this, what's happening in Cameroon in particular, about the number of people dying out of cancer because they lack the equipment. That struck me to say, okay, we have to do something. I was very, very happy when I heard that Cameroonian women are organizing a talk for cancer. So from now on, what can we do? Because our aim is with the women to see how we can mobilize to get some kind of maybe equipment or some technicians to go to Cameroon and try to do some kind of intensive research on this issue of cancer. So how do we affiliate with your organization in regards to that?
So what I can answer you here now is that I'm here. I understand you're interested to do something to make it better for women in Cameroon. So what I can do is I can take it back home to Amazona, that is in Stockholm, and we have this nationwide organization with 12,000 members, and figure out, I have a contact, figure out what can we do and what can we help you with. I don't know, but I'm happy to hear that you have an interest of doing something. That means let's do something.
Excellent. Yeah, excellent. Yeah.
So that's all for me.
We want to thank our guest from Amazona for presenting to us a very interesting talk. And so we had to forget that the talk had to last for 1 hour. I am very happy to see our participation, and I like the zeal, and I like our responses, and I would like us to continue in this same manner as we will continue the show of tonight. I would like to tell our sister from Amazona that she should carry our love back to their company, to their organization, thanking them for giving us this brilliant talk. At this point, we would like to, first of all, call on our sister, Winter, to come and tell us a little about the International Day of the Woman. Can we have her before we bring forth our second guest speaker? And like a reminder, the second guest speaker will have just 30 minutes because we are running out of time.
Okay, may I have your intention, please? I'll be giving a short speech, just a short address on behalf of the Stockholm women on this day. Okay.
A speech presented by Queen Tassone on behalf of the Association of Cameroonian Women in Stockholm, WACAMS, on the occasion of the 110th International Women's Day. Ladies and gentlemen, I will start by welcoming us all to this maiden event taking place in Stockholm today. It's a pleasure to celebrate this great day with you all. The women of Stockholm, under the leadership and inspiration of our sister, Mrs. Valerie Meyer, came up with a small Facebook group called Women's Corner about a year ago. Her vision was to see the Stockholm women, the Cameroonian women in particular, united, socialize, and work as a team towards common goals. We can proudly say today that it's a dream come true. When the idea of celebrating the International Women's Day 2014 came up about 6 to 7 months back, we had lots of ideas as well as mixed feelings on how to go about it. Despite the odds, we were bent on making it happen, and today we are all here and proudly celebrating this day. Very colorful. The International Day of the Woman dates back as far as 1911. International Women's Day was first celebrated over 100 years ago by working women in the United States. But the idea was quickly picked up and carried forward by women around the world. It's a day women are recognized for their achievements without regard to divisions, whether national, ethnic, linguistic, cultural, economic, or political. It is an occasion for looking back on the past struggles and accomplishments, but more importantly, for looking ahead to the untapped potential and opportunities that await the current and future generation of women. The United Nations General Assembly adopted March 8th as the annual celebration date in 1975, and each year celebration centers around a particular theme. Some groups, however, select their own International Women's Day theme specific to their local context. The UN's theme this year is "A Promise is a Promise, time to end violence against women." I know that the focus of this year's event is not violence against women per se, but we also know that gender-based violence is a serious problem around the world today. Women need to openly and honestly talk to themselves, but respectfully, about the obstacles to women being empowered. And we need to talk not just to ourselves, but to the men about these problems. Because solutions cannot be found until the problem is put squarely on the table. Today's forum is an excellent opportunity to advance the dialogue on this. And that is exactly what we hope to achieve. This year we choose the theme, "The Cameroonian Woman and Breast Cancer." Among other issues, we saw the need to bring in a sensitization on breast cancer and to make our women more informed and aware of this deadly disease. This will be accompanied by 2 sub-themes, which are violence against women and children, as well as immigrant women and national integration. On behalf of the Stockholm women, I would like to say a big thank you to all of you for coming here today. Thanks to Valerie Meyer for that great initiative, which has grown up to be a very big seed. Thanks to our sponsors, and thanks to you all women for believing in yourselves and for making your commitments towards the achievement of this great day. This is just the beginning. The best is yet to come. I will quote Margaret Thatcher. If you want something said, ask a man. But if you want something done, ask a woman. The women are taking the lead today. Long live Sweden. Long live Cameroon. Long live WACAMS. Thank you.
WACAMS women, oh yeah? Oh yeah? I'm not hearing you. It seems as if we are all sad because of cancer. Cancer is not here with WACAMS today. WACAMS, oh yeah? So we directly call on our second speaker, who has 30 minutes to talk, and he's going to do it the way he thinks will be interesting.
Okay, thank you so much. My brothers and sisters, I talk for PG? No. English, okay. My name is Joshua. I hope everyone knows me. I'm 150% Cameroonian. I'm from Southwest Province, Manu Division, small village called Sumbe. I just want to give a little story before I start saying what I want to say. When I was a little boy, when we go back to secondary school after holidays, my mom used to hide to give me money. I never understood what was going on. My uncles used to say, okay, you are a girl. You don't need to go to secondary school because we are going to look for a husband for you. When I started growing up, I started realizing something different. I realized that there was something really missing when my mom was saying that, but I can't put the blame on her. I realized that she didn't know what she was doing. Now I know. Women's rights are human right. She didn't know that she's got the right as a mom to give me money openly. She was dominated by my dad. So today, I will be talking on Women's Day, violence against women. Last week I was from Uppsala, where the UN Student Model United Nations discussion on violence against women for 3 days. So when I came, Ms. Pearl was hosting my MECA meeting in her house. So they told me that there's something going on today. I said, what is that? They said, oh, men you have to support. I said, what is that? They said, okay, Women's Day. I supported. And now I am here today. The problem is not Women's Day. I'm so surprised that we have just few men here. And that is the problem they are talking today about Women's Day. Women's Day is not Women's Day. It's not one day. It's 365 days. And it's not for celebration. It's for us to know that women have been subjected to, I would say, violence for pretty much long time. It's time for us to stand together with women and start solving this problem. So, women should know that we are equal. It doesn't matter. In terms of development, if you are not equal, you will never be developed. So we are equal. I just give an example, one example. I went to Cameroon. My friend is a magistrate. We're sitting eating. Then right after that, I was clearing the plates and going to keep them there. He was like, what are you doing? I said, what are you talking about? He said, no, my wife will do that. I just laughed. And the wife also got furious that I'm doing that. So this is on both sides. Women should realize that they have rights. And men should also realize that women have rights. So the two sides must work together. If they don't know that, then we are driving to nowhere. So that is why I am here today. The violence is not physical violence. We have different kinds of violence. Psychological violence, ignorance, creates a lot of this stuff. So I will be talking something on that. So unfortunately, we don't have a projector. I have a point in saying women's rights are human rights. What does that mean? Everyone should recognize the rights of women and girls as separate rights, apart from the normal rights we have. Why should we regard their rights as separate rights? Because they have been subjected to domination for a pretty long time. So we have to realize that women have extra rights. Women should also uphold their rights. Don't give your rights up. Tell me, you have to do this today. You are not, even if you are bearing children, it's not your responsibility to do everything. So you have to uphold those rights. Is violence against women a woman's issue? Do you really believe that violence against women is their issue? Ask yourself that question. Do you think so? I don't think so. It's not their issue. Empirical statistics that shows that it's not their issue. 1 out of every 3 women in the world is beaten, forced into sex, with rates reaching 70% in some countries. Rape is used as a weapon of war against women. Why? Because we still feel that women are nothing to us. So men still perpetuate that. The myth about thinking that this issue is about women. I'll read some stuff here. Violence against women primarily occurs in non-Western countries and can be blamed on regressive cultural beliefs about gender. People believe around the world that violence against women is only in third world countries. It is a big lie. All over the world you find this issue. In Sweden you find it, in America you find it. The problem is women don't come out to say that. Women still feel that, okay, I respect my husband. I think if I say this, I will be humiliating my husband. I promise you, if I do something to you, unfortunately, well, I'm not married, so and I don't do that. Tell me this is wrong. You have to get up and make coffee for me? No, that's wrong. Or you could do that, but it's not obligatory. Okay, I'll continue reading. Tragically, violence against women occurs in epidemic proportions throughout the world. This violence occurs not just in cultures or contexts where women are universally oppressed. It happens in every part of the world and in every society. Of course, countries and regions differ, and cultural, political, and economic differences, and the impact of disasters can have a significant effect on how violence against women unfold. For example, in DRC, we understand that. In DRC, because, men are always fighting, rebels are there, they use this forum to perpetuate violence against women. So we have to, as a universal body, we have to come out with solutions on how we can fight this. We are talking in the context of Africa. We have huge problems. And I would say this to African women. About 90% of women in Africa still perpetuate violence against themselves because they think that they are under men. Is it a lie? Even here, I can see that. Because I asked a question here some few hours ago. Someone told me, yes, my husband is at the top. I said, no, there's nobody at the top at the household level. We are all the same. If all of us go to work, we are earning 20,000 each, we are bringing home 40,000 crowns. So we are the same. Okay, yeah.
I think it's very wrong. I think it's like the men know we are equal. But the one with the minute, they take like our culture, they take it like something. It's not like we want to be dominated. We want to, but at the same time, like have respect for our culture. It's not like we want to be submissive, we don't know our rights. But the men know
it's good that you say that you know. I would say, I would accept with you, but inherently, it's some kind of, I would say something like, it has been in you that certain things you do, you don't recognize that you are subjecting yourself to your husband. There are a lot of things you would do, like, I would say, because you bear children, it's not your responsibility to be all the time with your child. That is what I'm saying. It's not a rule of law. When we talk about a woman's right, men's right, you have to, that is why in Sweden, when you give birth, a man stays at home 6 months and a woman stays at home 6 months. They want to share this to make sure that, and the government also, we say, government also promote this because in third world countries, they don't give you this opportunity. If you give birth, you stay at home, the man works, it doesn't matter to the government. But the government in the Western world, they realize that men and women should have equal opportunity. So that is the problem. We are talking now in the context of our own culture, in the context of how do we develop together. If we can't recognize the values and what women do, there is no way we can develop. We see it every day. I'm an African, I'm Cameroonian. I see that every day, and we go out talking about this women issue. It's very, very important that we realize that women should also realize that they have responsibility to uphold their rights. For example, if you want to go to a conference to Switzerland, I know you say, I don't want to leave my child, my husband would, but your husband can take care of your child when you are away. My girlfriend, right? When she goes to wherever, I take care of my son. I stay at home. The government knows that. So those are the things that we should realize. So let's continue. Another myth that I would try to talk about. Okay. No problem.
Sorry, I'm waiting. The point is, I think you are saying like there is a difference between domination and knowing your role as a woman. Just like my sister Adele said.
Yep.
We are Africans. That's who we are. That's our identity.
Yep.
We have our culture.
Yep.
And we came to Sweden, we are trying like to integrate in the society. We pick the things that we like. It is true that there is domination against women. But it's also true that we don't want to lose who we are.
Exactly.
Just because we are living in a foreign land.
Yep.
When we were growing up, I grew up in a home that I know that it's the mother's place to cook food at home. And I think it's perfectly okay.
No problem.
I don't have a problem cooking food for my husband.
Okay,
I don't think he has, sorry, I'm not done.
Okay.
And I don't think he has a problem making coffee or cooking food for me if he feels like. But I'm not going to tell him that you have to cook food. We are going to share this because we have the same responsibility. It has to be 50-50. I don't think it should be like that. Because that's not what we were taught. That's not our culture. That's not who we are.
Okay. That is not what I meant. I meant that, I would try to explain this. I didn't mean that you should actually force your husband to do that. I mean that it is time for us to realize, I would say, the two of you are working, right? Okay. You come back from work at the same time. Let's say your husband comes back from work at the same time. Before you, he's at home. Then you come back maybe 2 hours time. What does it look like if your husband is at home, then you come back home, you come back later, then go into the kitchen while your husband came before you? How do you feel?
I mean, 90% of the time it feels natural that when I come home, I cook food.
Okay.
When I come home and make food, which I do,
okay.
if he makes the food.
Okay.
But I feel like I don't get, maybe some days are different. You get stressed and you come home and everything is scattered, you can feel like, okay.
Okay.
But so, I think it's natural. We don't expect that by the time I come home, my husband has cooked and the table is set for me.
Okay, what I'm saying is, I am not disputing what you're saying. I'm saying is, what I'm trying to say is, it looks somehow when the two of you are working. Less stress for you, less burden for you. And when you come home, your husband already cooked food. You guys sit and eat. It's okay. It doesn't matter whether he cooks or not, but we think, you know, you live in a society, not even here, even in Cameroon. It looks, it would be, you guys should live in a different environment. If you are sitting with your husband cooks some food, you eat, you say this food is not tasty. What kind of excitement would you have when you say that? I think we are not saying, honestly, research has shown that if you subject yourself to that kind of a situation, in the long run, you become so depressed. So it's not, they are not stupid. You live here, you see, it's easy life, very, very easy. If you guys share what you are doing, it's the best life to live. So we are not saying we should change our culture. We're saying that there is a path to development, proper development, yourself, your spirit, your psychological thinking.
I think comparing the cultures in Africa and in Sweden, it's like comparing two different things.
Yeah.
Because in Africa, the housewife, let me just put it, the housewife, you have cousins at home, you have maybe a house help and anything. So it's not just the woman who does everything at home. So if you bring that mentality here, that the woman has to do this, the woman has to do that, and then the woman still has to bring in income, then it becomes very unjust.
That is exactly what we are trying to say. So, yeah, it's totally different. Yeah.
Just to make the fact here, it seems it's been women talking. As much as I want to respect women, this is Women's Day, I can just throw something on the table here. I mean, if you look at we're talking about cultural differences, but there's one aspect I think is being overlooked. If you go back home, I mean, you said you're from Southwest. I'm from the Western Province. But I was born in a town called Wala. That's not where my culture comes from. That's not the setup of my culture. My culture as a Bamileke was, came from this rural area where there was plenty of land, where you had, like enough place to build one house for the man, and then we had polygamy. Sometimes he had many wives, and houses for his wife. But then came, the big cities, where each and every family had a small piece of land. And they transposed this polygamy into the city. They transposed our cultures into the city. But there was no one, to do an adaptation of the model that was created back home, in the rural area, to do it in town. So I think you have to take that into perspective. And if you do the same delta between Douala, for example, and Stockholm in Sweden, you see some of the differences. And I'll end up by saying one thing. I mean, this poor guy who is expecting his wife to cook food. They're both working. I mean, I don't only blame this guy. I mean, he grew up in a model. He got that as model. That's what he knows. So maybe he has to be educated.
Exactly.
Should we have a birthday also?
Okay. I will just add something to what you said. I said something here. Women's Day is not meant for women. It's meant for women and men, because women have been subjected for pretty long time. So they created this day to create some kind of awareness, not only to educate women, but to also educate men on how to treat women. So we have to take this into consideration. And we also have to realize that we are living in a globalized world now. Even in Cameroon, everything is changed. So we have to take that into consideration. What I just said about how would you feel your woman is so tired? Maybe she even have a good job, a demanding job than you. You are at home 2 hours before time. She comes home so tired. You expect that she has to cook food for you to eat. I think it should be an instinct for you to feel that, okay, I think we have to share this responsibility. So it makes sense. It's simple reasoning, common sense. Look, Europeans are not using any space scientist mentality. They just use common sense to live. So we have to try to do something especially in our own context we are living here, to see how we can uphold this integrity for women. Women are the future of the world. That is certain. So we can't run away from that. Oh.
I would like to say that this topic is a very important topic in our community. And I wish that this should be given in the sense of wisdom, because we can see a lot of problems. When our women also, they start to know a lot, it can cause a lot of problems. Even in Europe today, they have balance, but it took time, you know. So you don't just need to go and bully our guys. No. This information that we are learning, in a way, is sinking in us. Trust me. Before, I have never seen my mama and my papa having, I've never seen that. They were doing something. I've never seen that. And it's changing, you know. Now somehow, even my junior, but even the young kids, you see, they bring the woman closer to them. So, in a way, my sisters, I want to say that I wish that all of us get information, but please take it cool, you know. Don't see things outside and decide to think that is paradise.
Okay. I will just say something. I will just say something on that. You're very correct, but I just said something that I just said something a while ago that we are living in a globalized world. It is very, very important. We are living in the pace at which we live is so fast now. So if you put a step behind of just what you're saying, I think you might not meet up with your expectation and the reality. The reality is women even have a better chance in a family to do more than men. They have a possibility, many possibilities more than men. So we have to realize that and give women the due rights that they deserve. It's easy. What is the problem there? It's easy. Why don't you just sit with your wife and say, oh, we can do things like equal. What does that cost? You still sleep on the same bed. So there is no I feel that there is no problem with that. And that is why you see the Western world develop. If we are from Cameroon, there are still doctors who are women, who still inherently, they don't think, they don't know that, okay, they're subjecting themselves to that. They do it because of the culture, right? Yeah, it's normal.
So, sorry, I have a big problem with that. I mean, the culture, are you saying that the culture is wrong?
Oh, no, I didn't say that. I'm saying, look, the culture, when we talk about culture, there are positive sides of culture and negative sides of culture. And there are certain things that we do that we don't know. The fact what I'm saying, your wife is a medical doctor, I just mentioned it here. She comes back from operating patients, she still comes. I have passed through that. I have a senior brother who was doctor. I see that at home. I realized when I started realizing it, I realized that it was totally wrong. You will see here, it's easy. Whether it's a minister, I go to ICA, buy some stuff, and go around, cook. What is the problem there? Your kids are from daycare, your wife is in the hospital, coming late. You already cook food. It is easy. It's not, this culture thing is not about you don't maintain your culture. It's just to live with reality. So that is what we are saying. You still maintain your culture like a Bayangi man. I still maintain my culture. But we have to face the reality. So that is what we are saying here. And until we realize this, you will never, in the first place, human rights, democracy will never exist. So they use all this to subject women to nothing. And women don't even think, even vote, they've got no idea. Because everything, a man goes to a meeting, come and say, they said this, but this is the person you have to vote for. It happens. So those are the things we are talking about. They should have space to do things. So I did, okay.
Yes, I thought that we should kind of be honest with ourselves when we talk about our culture at some point and face the fact that that culture is not perfect. Because we have a culture that has taught us that it's okay to be bullied around by a husband. It is okay to be bullied around by a father. And I think it's totally wrong. I'm sorry, even if it's our culture, it's wrong. We have gone to the point where in some parts of our country where we come from, some women think that it's okay to be beaten up. It's love.
Yeah. You are right. Okay. I will say something. What would you take for if your father is dead, your mom is the only wife, and you are 5 of you, and now your father is dead, I would say your uncle come to take your father's property. That's the kind of culture we are talking about. Because now your uncle takes your father's property, you become, with your children, in poverty. Because women don't know these rights. So women has to know all these things. What kind of culture is that? So those are some of the things we are talking about. Okay.
Please look at our culture in the essence. Not look at it in the wrongdoings that people are. I mean, for example, bullying a woman. It's not part of our culture. It's not. I've grown up in a very traditional family, and I've seen, most of our family friends were traditional families as well.
You're very right.
I don't remember, my parents or friends of my parents bullying their women.
No, we talk that in a generalized way. So not specific cultures.
Let's take that out of our culture.
Yeah.
Part of our culture.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Exactly. So we talk in a general sense about what is happening in Africa, because in the first place they don't have the laws that protect women. Yeah, but they don't function because the men put the laws and they don't implement the laws. So until women themselves, they start forming associations where they say, okay, enough is enough. We go on the street, stop violence against women. Then sometimes men also take it as a right, because they don't know that women can go out and start saying something. So we have to do this in collaboration with women. If men start saying these things, women will feel happy that, okay, I think we are driving in the right direction. If our men can stand up and say, there is perpetual violence against women.
It's ignorant.
Exactly, yeah.
Sometimes they don't know.
Yeah.
They have to be educated. They don't know what they do is violent.
Yeah.
They don't think it's the culture. It's not the culture.
Culture, yeah.
They have to be educated. This is violent.
Yeah.
To differentiate from the culture and other practices.
Yeah. So that's why I expected to see our brothers here today to listen to this stuff. It's very, very important for us.
Well, I just wanted to say that it's difficult for somebody to seek for help if he doesn't know that he's sick. Because 90% of our mothers, or our women, maybe in Africa might be married, but our mothers, they never ever ask the daughter to maybe at a certain point leave the marriage, or maybe tell the daughter that this is wrong. No, they tell us that this is wrong.
That is it. The stigma is still there. Okay, I just read this from what we're saying. Men have the power to stop violence and rape. And in order to successfully end violence against women and girls, men must be involved in the discussion. More broadly, men are crucially allies in the fight to end violence. There must be against women. In addition to providing support and services to survivors of sexual violence, organizations looking to stop violence are increasingly mobilizing men to create safer communities by changing expectations and norms for men, as you just said. There is something that they talk about violence when people talk, they say it's an internal issue. This is wrong. It's not an internal issue. So sexual violence is an internal issue. All countries must come together to tackle this issue. It happens all over the world, even here. I'll quote you an example. Most of the women men who are rich and stuff, they are scared to bring this up to tarnish the reputation of their husband. So this issue is not an African issue. It's all over the world. So we really need to do something. Yeah, my time is going. Let me just, today's overview is women should realize their rights. You should do that. Number 2, men should be involved in women's rights. Number 3, women's violence is not internal. This is a universal problem. Before I end this, I just want to make a remark. I am very, very impressed today. I think that this is my first time since I moved from South Africa to Sweden in 2010 to see this kind of zeal from women. It really shows that women have the power to change the society. That is why we must put women first. Women's rights are human rights. So women, we appreciate this. We have to carry this forward to the General Cameroonian Association in Stockholm. We have to do that. For how many years we don't have a base association? But look at women. No men yet. It shows that the men are the cause of unity in Stockholm. That is the problem. So women, I will, in my capacity, like just a simple person, I will be supporting you guys wherever you go, and I promise you guys should carry this forward. Call the men, organize another meeting like this. As Mayo did, our men will support our women to, in collaboration with other women, call another gathering like this. To talk to women, to talk to men, tell them, we sit here, women sit there and say, we are tired of the disunity. There is a lot of disunity in Stockholm. I've never seen that. I've lived outside for 12 years. I've never seen the one in Stockholm. But women, you are number 1. So, no, let him say.
The women are having this seminar today. They didn't invite any men. These men they are sitting here. I've talked to some few men yesterday. They were not invited.
Okay, great. That's a great question. I want to answer this. Personally, I saw it on we have WACAMS Facebook. Every man see this. And any man that knows that women's right are human right should be here. That is wrong. That's a flimsy excuse.
But then they always said that men should stay at home with the kids.
I don't think so. Yeah. Okay. Where is I saw what he's there with it. He's standing there as an example. What is he doing there? Huh? Okay. I'm almost going. So I just want to say something. I spoke to that woman. We are going to do everything possible. I realize that you have an interesting topic about cancer, and we talked about that before. It's very important. We are all going, women, this organization, you have to fight for that independently of WACAMS. Because I would say, with this unity you have, don't allow any disunity to come there. So we are going to meet this lady and see how the issue is not talking. How can we get those machines? Because they are here. They give them. If they see you sitting like this, you talk about this, they will find a solution to donate those machines. If they, even 3 or 2, you donate them to Cameroon, that will be an achievement. Secondly, in August, we have a conference called Help Africa, African New Leadership Initiative. This one, all the ambassadors will be there. I will invite all the women. We are going to create, Nelson Mandela's daughter will be there, talking about women leadership. I want women to come there. Just tell us what it is. We invite you there from the 28th of August this year to the 30th. You talk about this issue because a lot of people will come there to listen. That is how you pass your message out. Secondly, I propose that you should try all the time to attend a lot of forums. We are living in a world where you don't know your step can jump in a minute. You have the right as men to do what you think is good for your family. So thank you guys, and I really appreciate being here today. Thanks very much.
That was awesome. That was great. We thank you very much for your words of encouragement, and from your words I now understand that women are to lead and men to follow. WACAMS, oh yeah. WACAMS, oh yeah. We are always in the front line. We are holding the bull by the horn. Yes, we can. You always do it, and we'll do it real hot. Tonight, we still have another speaker. I know we will be bored, but this time around, we are going a step higher. Now it's time for us to tell ourselves how to integrate amongst ourselves. We are now integrated, but though there are still some loopholes. And I think the next guest speaker, who is an advocate for women, and he is one of us still, and his words will be words of encouragement. So we call on our brother, Hansel, to come and tell us about integration.
Thank you, Galena. Actually, I was supposed to do a presentation for 30 minutes, but looking at the way the conference has been so interactive, I have decided that instead of me talking to you, it's time for us to talk to ourselves. So I want us to have like a panel discussion, like an open debate, a free debate about challenges we face every day in struggling to integrate ourselves into the Swedish society. Especially, like earlier we were talking about sexual violence. A lot of you ask questions that also brings to light the issue of cultural adaptation and cultural clash. We also brought issues that concern the misplaced and misunderstood role for women and men. And then you have other issues that when you want to talk about integration, like for instance, learning a second or a third language, such as the Swedish language, or getting a job. So what do you think? I mean, we all have lived here for quite a while and we have stories to tell. What are your experiences? What are your stories? How do you advise each other? So I want to listen to you, the women.
Can I talk on that part?
Yeah, my name is Palman Gwendolyn. I came to Sweden in 2004, and I remember when we came here, it wasn't that really good on our side, so we were like struggling to make end meets because we've left family back at home. Some of us were saying that Sweden is just a bus stop. We have to go somewhere, and today it's getting to 10 years, in Sweden, we know where. So I am a living witness. I will advise my brothers and sisters who are coming to Sweden, like they say, when you go to Rome, do what the Romans do. No matter what, they'll tell you that, there's racism. There's racism even in Africa, even in our country. But I bet you, if you know the language, you have the qualification, you will have a job. Please, let's forget about the money now. Think about the future. And maybe the future of those that we are going to bring up, like our kids now, we are bringing up kids. How are we going to better their lives? They'll ask, Mama, what are you doing? Take it as a challenge. I want to be this. And if you have it in mind, I bet you will always succeed. So let's try to integrate into society.
So Gwendolyn talked about language, which is very important. Okay, but Gwendolyn, we have some of us here who may say, okay, I studied SFE, I went to SAS, and I went to the highest level, but I still either do not have the job that I want, or I am employed in a profession which I don't really feel happy in.
Maybe I can still answer the question because there is.
Your suggestions were very good, but I think that we have to always say this with empirical evidence. There is a research that was done from Afro-Svenska. How many Africans specifically have jobs in Sweden? They did a research and found out that 60% of Africans living here have degrees. They know language. Then they realized that 90% don't have jobs. They either do some shit jobs. Then 10% have temporary jobs. If you want to go to Bureau of Statistics. Then secondly, they did a research to find out how many Africans, Swedish that are born here, that speak 100% Swedish, that study at the university here, have degrees, have jobs. They found out that because of the name, most 90% still don't have jobs. So there is a very huge debate on that, because we see superficially, yes, you can have, but how many are out there? So the problem here is not about integrity. Sweden has failed. The EU are fighting with Sweden in terms of what we talk about integration. Sweden has the weakest integration. Even at the level of Bostad, you apply for whatever, you apply for, you apply for apartment. I live in Bagamosi. You apply for apartment there, when they see your name, you don't. So they try everything possible to sideline us. So what you're saying, you are not wrong, but that is the statistics in Sweden. They are fighting against Sweden. EU is fighting against Sweden. They won them many times, but they have silence. I would not want to mention what they're talking. So we should understand that. It's good to learn the language. That is a stepping stone. That is not a guarantee. Thank you.
It now proves that language is not sufficient, as Gwendolyn earlier suggested, and then Joshua counteracted. So, what therefore is sufficient? I mean, I guess some of us here are involved in professional jobs like this.
Yeah, I have come to realize that it takes time for anything to happen. You know, today people can talk in America that all the blacks are doing good, but it took time. So what Gwendolyn is saying, I am with her, you know? Like, for example, the Arabs has been here, they have like 60 years or 40 years history in Sweden. And their position is more better than us. For us, I think we have just like 25-year history, or most of us that are somehow active today, or are talking about change, we need change. We don't have more than 12-year history or 15-year history in Sweden. So trust me, I believe that things will change. I want to give an example. For some reason, I was doing practice with one Arab girl. And I asked the girl, what do you think about black people? She told me that what the Arabs thinks about black people. She told me that they think that we are lazy. That was what she said, in the name of God. Not up to 1 month ago, she said that. Then I said, but where do you get your statistics from? She said that if you go to Abesformingen, you will see most of the people there who don't have a job are black people. And she was right. But then I told her, I remember 10 years ago, no, like 7 years ago when I came in this country, most of us were managing 300, 500 crowns for food. You know, you buy your one bag manna grain, you buy your chicken, I don't know, you packet chicken in this shop in Albi. For 300 crowns we could manage, or 500 crowns. But today, most people are eating more than that. Even maybe 5 times or 6 times more than that. So things will change. Even it will take time, but we will get somewhere. I believe just learn the language, do what you can before it beats you. Then when it beats you, you know you have tried. I am dying, but I have tried.
So we continue with one of our senior sisters.
Yeah, I just want to say what Gwendolyn said is also what I'm trying to say. I'm a living proof. I've been here for 24 years. My second year in Sweden, I started going to school, studying language, studying the nursing. I'm working today. My children are here. They came also when they were 12 and 15. They went to school. Today they are working. My husband has been here just for 2 years. He finished SFE. He
applied to from Abefamili to get a planting. He got a planting. He did it for 1 month. He was supposed to continue, but he wants to finish SFE. So I can say language is the key.
To add to what Gwendolyn said, I want to say that we shouldn't you shouldn't have a negative mindset, and just because some people have not succeeded, we sit down, we don't make the effort, and we think we will succeed. Have you learned the language? Yes, checked. Do you know something? Do you have degrees? Have you learned a job? I mean, do you have a practical thing, like a profession that you can do? If yes, check, then try, apply. If no, go for it. How many have done that? We are the ones that are stopping ourselves. Many of us have university degrees. How many of us have applied for jobs that are to the level of our degrees? Very few. We want fast money. We stop ourselves. We think that, no, we have families to take care of, and that's the only thing that drives us. What about our ambition? What do you want to be? Are you proud of yourself? And the time that you have made going to school, collecting these degrees, what do you do with it? Have you tried before you say, when I go to Abesomilingen, I don't get a job? People search for jobs for years. And when they get it, they try their best to keep it. Sometimes we get jobs and we don't even put our seriousness in it to keep the jobs we get. So I don't think we should blame it on others. We should blame it on ourselves. Where we place our ambitions, how much we want to do to carry out those ambitions. If I want to be a medical doctor, I do what it takes to be a medical doctor. I don't stop at being an odeshotista, and when I get a salary of 25,000, I think, oh, now I have a salary of, I'm okay. 25,000 is like 1.5 million CFA. It's enough. No, it's not. Because at the end of the day, you will not be happy because you have not achieved what you came to do. You wanted to be a medical doctor. What about that? And you will say, it's too hard. Statistics say that they take only you need to speak perfect Swedish or whatsoever, but you have not tried. You didn't go for it. You have institutions, you have Abetmelingen that is there to help out, to give guidelines. I mean, they must not 100% give you a job, but it's a guideline, it's a way to go. There are other ways, and I think we just have to try them out.
Well, I just also wanted, I'm not going to talk about what Gwendolyn and Cedra and the other have already said, but I can only support that it's very important. The language is like the first step to integrating in the society. And I think like integration is not just about the job. It's about your day-to-day communication in the country. I mean, we are living like all our lives in Sweden. We go to Cameroon and we stay there just for 1 month or 2 months. Basically, we live here. This is home for us now. And then you come here, you stay 10 years, you don't know the language, you go to the grocery shop, you can't even communicate, you can't talk. Sometimes I just feel like it's embarrassing. You know, you go to the doctor and they'll ask you, how long have you been here? You're like, I'm here for 10 years, and yet you cannot communicate. So I think like we put so much barriers on ourselves that are not supposed to be there. Just knowing a simple language can make day-to-day life very easy. And then if you try to like, if you try to integrate and you can speak the language and you try to learn it, then you get interest to learn about the Swedish culture. Because there are simple things that can make it different. You can sit here and you maybe think you are, okay, I'm in Africa, we can speak loud, we can talk the way we want, and nobody will think you are strange. But then if you sit in a crowd, it's like you go to Rome, you do what the Romans do. You can try to adjust. We meet each other in the midpoint, like, okay, when I'm here, I can behave in a certain way, because it's okay in this society to behave like this. But then you cannot do that if you haven't, like, tried to go to school and try to learn something and try to study about the life that is in the people, that the people are living. If you are, like, very uninterested in everything, some of us, we don't have any interest. We are, like, very satisfied with what we are doing, and we just think it's okay. And then all of us now, we are having children. We have children who are going to school age. How are you going to help them if you can't speak the language? They will come with homework. say, Mama, can you help me? And you were like, I can't help you because I cannot read, because I don't understand. So I think it's like, it's a challenge for us, for the sake of our children. If we have to help them, then we have to know the language. At least we can read and understand what is in need. You don't have to know the answer. If you didn't do mathematics, you don't have to solve the problem. But at least you can read and tell the child, okay, I know this is what they want, but I will ask, or I will find out the information from the internet, rather than telling your child that, I'm sorry, honey, I cannot read Swedish. So I think it's a challenge for us to, for our children's sake, we have to try to learn the language. Thank you.
Language seems to be the most important tool when it comes to integration. So we are going to make a last round of opinions. We go to Leng Park.
I will use the opportunity to thank the women before doing my little contribution for this special event. And I would like to say that the integration of issue, integration is not a collective integration. It's more like individual integration. And then when you move to a country that has a particular language, the first thing you have to do is to learn the language. So I'm in accordance with some people because I have some experience on that. And then the degree, if you look the statistic, because we're talking about statistics, how many native Swedes, the real Swede, has high degree, they don't have job. I can tell you that there's a lot of people here in Sweden who have high degree who are working in ICA. The problem is that you have to know how to find a real job. For example, statistics show that when you study in the healthcare, you are 100% guaranteed to get a job, because that's the sectors that they need people. It's not only foreign people who are working there. The Swedes are working there. The Europeans are working there. It's a very, very demanding sector. But if you go, I'm a civil economist. I study economy. Do you expect that I'm going to get a job in Sweden as a civil economist? In which company? Nowhere. I would never get a job. Because there are many Swedes here who have the same degree like me, who have no job. And then recently, I don't know if you heard about the scandal when they asked the Prime Minister the level of unemployment in Sweden. He said it was quite zero. And they told him that, of course, statistics show that there's more than 10% unemployment in Sweden. He said, no. Those are not Swedes. So you know the difference between the real Swede and those who become Swede, or the foreign people. So I think that we have to start to think ourselves. What can we do to integrate ourselves? Some people talk about the Arab. Most Arab, they have their business. We African, we don't think about that. We don't think to make our own business, to employ our own fellow African. I guarantee you, if I open the store today, I will not employ Cameroon. Yes. Yeah, it's something that we have in our culture. No Cameroon will come in my store to buy because they will say, that's an store. If I buy to him, his store is going to be rich. That's where they start the integration. Accepting each other, creating the opportunity to integrate ourselves. Open restaurant, there are projects here, there's a lot of projects. But we don't go to the south to find what can we do, what our project can we carry. There's support everywhere. There's no different. When you come to Africa, if you have a junior project, they finance you. A community like this can come together and say, okay, no, we don't want to go to that process anymore. We want to create our own personal business. We create maybe a second-hand store somewhere and start employing each other. That's the way we integrate ourselves in the society. The language is the key, because the language The working language and the living language is Sweden. It's Swedish. It's not English. And then our problem is that most of us Cameroonians, when we come to Sweden, we have this problem that we speak English. And then in Sweden, every single Swede speak English. And then we are satisfied, oh, I can communicate in English. We forget that when we come to the job market, it's Swedish. So we have to get a creative mind, think about that we can create our own business. We can come together, which is very important. If Ansel has a store, I shall go and buy to Ansel to support him because Ansel will grow and employ maybe 3 or 4 of us. That's the way the Nigerian does. That's the way the Arab does. But we don't do that. It's a little bit shameful. Sorry. Thank you.
So I can see we have more people anxious and itchy to talk. But all along we've been talking about one barrier to integration, which has been language. Some others have already touched on qualifications, like necessary qualifications. Some talked about education. But I guess we have other barriers. And I don't know if our next speaker, do you permit I give him first?
Thank you. I think I will express myself better in French. I'm sorry for that. Je pense que le problème de l'intégration, il faut d'abord regarder la définition qu'on donne à l'intégration. S'intégrer, c'est quoi? Intégrer, c'est-à-dire tu quittes d'un corps externe pour entrer dans un autre. Ça veut dire tu quittes d'un milieu pour un autre. Ça fait que quand tu fais ce déplacement, ce mouvement-là, tu fais face à un autre corps qui n'est pas le sien. Alors, ça fait que tu as devant toi un contact. Je pense que c'est une autre facette de l'intégration, le contact. Le contact est très important, c'est mon point de vue. Il n'y a pas que la langue, c'est vrai, il faut s'exprimer, c'est très important. Il faut avoir des degrés, comme on dit, mais il faut avoir des contacts. Mon expérience à moi, concernant les Camerounais, c'est qu'on se referme en nous-mêmes. C'est-à-dire, le Camerounais, quand il arrive en Suède, il ne s'arrête que dans le milieu camerounais. Peut-être certains sortent, mais la majorité ne le fait pas. C'est-à-dire, on se renferme en nous-mêmes. Alors qu'on vient d'entrer, je ne veux pas en parler moins, on vient d'entrer dans ce milieu suédois qui est face à nous, qui est un challenge. Ça fait que la meilleure façon donc de s'intégrer, c'est d'avoir des contacts qui sont en Suède, qui sont la Suède, qui sont les Suédois, les natifs. Je pense que quand tu as plusieurs contacts natifs suédois, tes portes commencent à s'ouvrir. Ça, c'est mon point de vue. Ça fait que il faut donc garder cette relation-là, au point où quand tu vas donc vouloir, atteindre tes objectifs, tu peux te référer à ces contacts-là. Je prends un exemple sur moi-même. J'ai été en Suède pendant un moment, après j'ai quitté la Suède, je suis revenu. Ça ne m'a pas pris 2 mois pour avoir un job, parce que j'ai dû user de mes contacts. Moi, c'est ce que j'ai appris de mes parents. Quand tu vas entrer quelque part, il faut avoir des contacts. Nous-mêmes, on le dit au Cameroun, il faut avoir des relations. La relation est très importante pour s'intégrer, pour entrer dans un milieu. Je pense que c'est ce que moi j'ai utilisé. Je pense donc que les contacts m'ont aidé à m'intégrer d'une certaine façon. La langue, je n'ai pas encore cette fluidité dans la langue, je ne peux pas. Je n'ai jamais fait servir, mais je m'exprime. Mais les contacts m'ont beaucoup aidé. Si je suis ce que je suis aujourd'hui, c'est grâce aux contacts. Je pense donc que nous, les Camerounais, on ne doit pas seulement se refermer à nous-mêmes. Pour pouvoir s'intégrer, cherchons à avoir des contacts. Pas seulement Camerounais. Cherchons des étrangers, cherchons des Suédois. Cherchons ceux qui ne sont pas seulement de notre nationalité. Ils vont nous aider à atteindre nos objectifs de l'intégration. C'est mon point de vue. Merci.
As much as I agree with what he said, I mean, actually, you took a word from my mouth. I wanted to say network. Networking is very important. But the little place I disagree with you is that networking, it should start here, among us Cameroonians. You know, it should be that each and every person here knows, okay, I'm, let's say, graduating in nurse. Who are the nurses in the community? And then contact them. Then, okay, how can I get a job where you're working? And so on. And I think we should go beyond that Cameroonian thing, where you get something, you know, you stay on your side and you say, okay, if I put a Cameroonian here, I will get problems. I think that's a barrier. I mean, not only when you are two there, and when you work seriously, you create an example, you will see a third one will follow. As opposed to if you alone. We've seen an example, I've seen an example somewhere else, where one guy, he got a very nice position as a university teacher. And this guy had so many Cameroonians, you know, studying with him, but none of them made it as a university teacher in that university. But eventually, what's happening now? This guy is some sort of a minority. He's kept in a corner there. I mean, there is nothing he can do. On the other hand, the Arabs guys that were with him, the place is full of Arabs now. And who is the chief of department? It's an Arab guy. Who is the responsible for this? It's an Arab guy. This Cameroonian got the same opportunity. He was even better than the best of the Arab guys. But he's now, a very nice guy, very good guy, but he's sitting in the corner there. We cannot do anything to get him out, but he's there. So that's one thing. The second thing I wanted to talk about, just to come a little bit back on what was said, starting with our sister there. I think if you go to Roma, do like Romans they do. But there's one more thing there. Here in Sweden, for example, you have Swedish studying in everything. They study from history of Sweden to medicine. Now, studying in history of Sweden like the Swedish they do, it's doing like Romans when you go to Roma. But us Cameroonians, can we afford that? There is one thing I want to add. It's the momentum. I have a friend who used to play the stock market when it was very high in the 90s. And he used to call himself momentum player. He goes where the wind is blowing. You see, where are the jobs? The next 2-3 years, the next 5 years, where are the jobs going to be? You go there. You don't think. The other thing is, some of us come here with some, university degrees from Cameroon or from other countries. That's a problem in Sweden. It's not only in Sweden, it's a problem all over the world. You come to a country with a foreign degree, you always get less than if you had a degree locally. So the first thing I suggest to those who come with foreign degrees is, please go back to university, do something small in the same area, and just get your foot in the work market. You get there, and within the work market, you will see how you will progress, how you will go faster than someone who just came out of university. So those are the few things. But then let me finish up with one thing. We came here, most of us here, 95% of us here came here not from our parents. We came here ourselves. But I see a lot of kids running here, right? Are they going to go to school back in Cameroon? I don't think so. So they're going to go to school here. I had an experience, back then I didn't realize it, in another country, where I was friends with people from, I would say, the second generation. We were young, we were, unconscious, 18, 19, 20. And then all of those guys, they were living in big houses. So the parents, they really made it. That was in North America. The parents, they made it. But today, when I go back there, most of those friends, I see them. What are they doing? They're working at, anonymous job. They cannot even tell you what they're doing, most of them. Of course, some will always make it. So the thing is, the first generation made it, but it didn't prevent the second generation from failing. And I think, one of the challenges waiting us as community today is the second generation, those kids playing there. And my suggestion is, no matter what we did, some of us came here with a lot of constraints. You have to send money back home every month, and so on. That, prevents you from making long-term plans. But those kids, they don't have to send money back home. So please, let's do one thing. If you go to Roma, do like Romans, but follow the momentum. And as you're following the momentum, try to be in the lead. If you're in the lead, even they'll make a mistake, they will take you. And when they take you, you'll still be in the lead, no one will throw you out. And if you're in Sweden, you're in the lead, they will put you in the front seat. That's what I do.
I think much has been said, but in the running of this program, I came to realize something that I think is very important. Information finding. get to where you have first-hand information in Sweden. What happens most of the times amongst us Cameroonians is that, well, do you know, Pearl will give an explanation. Valerie, do you know, Valerie will give her own version of the same thing. Possibly one of them may be true, one of them may be just a clue, and one may be totally misleading. What I want to say is that if you know that you are good in anything, go to the department, find out what is done. Language can only be a minor in certain sectors here in Sweden. I have seen lots and lots of publications giving us priority for English language. And most of us here can speak English, and in diverse or various or different fields. So what I am saying is that seek the right information. Go to those offices that give you direct information. And when you have first-class information, your reaction is swift. If you are a smart person. I discovered that although I speak English more, I don't speak Swedish. What I struggle to do is, when I get to the office, your brother Nike English. I just tell you immediately, then you're like, oh, let me look for, immediately they look for help, for a translator, because I have something, and your manner of approach to matters. It really matters. You make the contacts, yes, that is our Cameroon style, making contacts, but if you know where it is happening, all of us, we have internet in our houses, but most of the time what we do is only Facebook, YouTube. There are lots and lots of information. No, me, I know I can put a post at 2 a.m. in the night. Oh, that is Belinda. But along the line, what I read is taking me places. And one day, I'll be so.
My sister told me, she said, this taking care of old people, you are very expert in it. You used to take care of them. So now, but you don't have education for it. But now here, you can make it. I said, okay, if that is it. So I after SFA, I did not read the SAS. After SFAD, I started from SFAD. I started doing SFA 4 because now I want to do that job. So I know it's not easy. But my Swedish was not good. I read SFA for 2 years. I cannot speak it. But I was for my friends there. When they say, it's going to go to school, you are there. I said, no, this thing I was doing in the Catholic church, they say if I go to school. I have to do it. So I was done after 2 years from SFAD. I started reading SFA book instead of reading SFAD because I find out that if I sit in the class SFAD, we are not doing it, it's just smarter. So I told one of my teacher, I said, I want to go for Dawson. But she said, you are now in SFAD. I said, yes, I can start it from here. So the woman started preparing me for it, from SFA board. So after SFA board, I went to Nigeria to marry. So before I came back, before I went to Nigeria, they sent me for practice. So from my little experience, but I did not have education for it, but from my little experience, I was, I made it, they sent me to chefs. I went for 3 months. So that was how I was doing. I even went for 6 months, practice, no payment. But because I want to, my skill, I want to get there. So I was reading. So I went to Nigeria to marry in August. So before I came back, they said they have started taking the course for undershot distance. So I went to my teacher. I said, I told you that I want to be undershot distance. You are not like Sasasinu, I can start. So she said, I can start. I said, okay, you can start now. But first time we are going to try you. If you don't pass, you have to go back to the session. I said, okay, no problem. So I went. So I went. The first I did it, the first I could not now. I think now we do it or I don't know. So I started, I did the first one, and I passed it. So that was how I began to read the board of sorry coach. So first time, after first term, they sent us out for practical. I did well. The second term, I was sent to the mental apartment. I was so scared. So, but my aunt, she loved me to say, I want to work. She knew, but you want to work. But after all the short distance, you have to go for a specialist again to go and read. Hey everyone, my name is Monica. I guess everyone knows me. Well, what can I say? So sweet. Well, I want to thank everyone for coming up today. I feel so happy and proud. When I started the Women Corner, I was really having this image of women together, working together, solidarity, and really like working towards the common goals. And I'm proud that we made it together, because this would have been such a great day without you ladies, and I'm so proud of us today. So thank you very much. Well, we had debates on breast cancer, we had debate on integration and violence against women. I would like to say that it's not only women that are violated, because men also can complain of being violated in this society. I know that some of we use advantage of laws to maybe threaten their man or maybe make their life a little bit miserable and so on. So it's both sides. So our message today was not, our aim today was not to open the women's eye against their men, but to ask both of us, like men and women, to work together. We want integration, but we should be able to find a balance. We should be able to know where we are coming from. We want our children to know where they are coming from. And we want someone to succeed in society, because this is where we live. So I thank you again for this day. I thank our partnership, the ACC, the AC55 network. I thank ABF. I thank all the men for supporting us, because they did support us, despite the fact that they are not there today. So thank you very much, and I hope we continue with a very interesting evening. Thanks a lot.
Come and pray for us and bless the food for us.
Let's pray. Please let's stand. Father Lord, once more we thank you again for today. We thank you for the first part of the ceremony and went well. The second part has begun. Food placed on the table. We pray you bless this food and nourish our body. Continue to provide for us so that we will not lack. Bless it, guide us, protect us, lead us home safely. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you very much, our mom. And now, please, we'll follow the order. So, we'll go orderly. So, nobody should just jump and go to the table without following the order. We'll start from that table, and then we'll go around like this. We can do it like this. You can go in 2 lines, not just 1 line, 2 lines. So that table first, then this one follows, then the rest. So enjoy your meal. Thank you. Please, anybody who is interested to drink alcoholic wine, we couldn't put it on all the tables, so you can please feel free to come and take it on the table. Alcoholic wine on the table, please.
Amen. Hallelujah. Amen.
Offer the cake to tell us about the message, because there's a powerful message on the cake. So, please stand up.
Umane! Umane! Actually, when I heard that people were donating, or would I say donating, contributing or pledging things for this occasion, I decided that we should have something significant to commemorate this great day, because it's not easy for women to leave their homes, their families, to come and be together. So I decided to make this as my own contribution. And I wrote the 103rd International Women's Day, Inspiring Change. This occasion here today is not something we should take lightly, because the way we have started this, I want to plead with my sisters that we should not relent our efforts, because if we do, we'll be the laughing stock of our husbands or our brothers who were here today. So, this is what I had for you people. And since it's our sister Adele's birthday, where is she?
I'm in the spirit with you, my dear. Thank you for the birthday cake.
She should help us cut the cake and share it for us.
You sing it again.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. How old are you now? How old are you now? No answer. How old are you today? How old are you now? 32 years old. Happy birthday. Many more years to you. Many more years to you. Many more years to your wedding. Many more years. Hurrah.
Cut it for us. 1, 2, 3, go! No, we're not singing it, but there's some.
I'm Jennifer, I'm very happy to be with you to celebrate this day with you. It's
March.
I'm very happy to be with you. I appreciate everything and all the speakers, all what they say, I really appreciate it, and I'm very happy to be with you. My prayer for this Cameroon community, my prayer is for them, for the Lord to continue to strengthen them, those that make it possible for this day to come. That Almighty Lord should continue to empower them and continue to grow and continue to celebrate more than that. That is my God bless you all.
My name is Anne-Marie Pan, outgoing president of Cameroonian System. I want to say this is one of the best conferences I've ever attended. I'm so happy of my women. They did a great job. Women's Day have tried their best of voting, and we got their blend, breast cancer, domestic violence, and how to integrate ourselves in the society. I say, with all this knowledge, go back home to be the best housewife and good mothers to our kids. For a better Cameroonian society in the future. God bless WACAMS. Long live Sweden. Long live Sweden.
Thank you.
Quelques mots en français ou en anglais de 8 matchs.
Je commence avec vous.
Nous sommes la maison qui coule la bouche. Quelques mots en français.
Quelques mots en français, oui.
Les hommes.
Attends.
Les hommes, ne soyez pas jaloux, hein. C'est notre jour aujourd'hui. Je vous embrasse, hein. Wishing all the women all over the world a very nice Women's Day.
money.
Here we have 3 bottles of champagne to pop for the Women's Day. So I'll be calling on some of our elders here to come and pop this champagne at the same time. So the first bottle will be going to Madame John Malaka. And another bottle will be going to... The second bottle will be going to Mani. And the last bottle of champagne will be going to Madame Kwame. So they'll give us what they want to wish us for this Women's Day and pop the champagne. Can we be silent?
I just want to wish you guys all very happy Women's Day. You have made it. I'm very proud of you, women of Ghana, and I wish that this spirit should continue. I'm very proud of you.
In French.
Je suis la première fois que je viens ici, bravo. J'aimerais vous féliciter. Je suis très impressionnée. Je viens juste entrer dans le groupe et je suis impressionnée de la soirée. Et je vais seulement dire continuons. C'est le début, mais j'espère qu'on va faire de grandes choses. Et bravo encore.
I just want to say congratulations also. Well organized festival.
J'ai envie de te dire que je t'aime, tout simplement pour exprimer mon amour. J'ai envie de te dire que je t'aime, pour exprimer mon amour. Il y a un moment, mon chéri, j'ai envie de te dire que je t'aime.
concluding with my how I'm organizing things.
Because we feel posted, we didn't tell them, and Jerry President and
Okay. I don't know.
Okay.
So just how I organize them until this time. So how happy are they?
The only time, the only time people follow me today.
Not forget we.
No, we cannot forget.
Okay.
We want to
now,
thank the AC55 network for being with us the whole day of today. We are so grateful. It was a successful event. We did everything behind the odds. Everything was against the odds for us behind the scenes, but now I see the women are happy. Everything went on well. The celebrations, the dialogues. I think messages went through today, from breast cancer to integration and to violence against women. We are proud of ourselves. We are proud of the Stockholm women. It doesn't end here. We will continue. This is just the beginning for us.
Yeah, so like my sister said, we thank you a lot for this day. It was a lot of giving. We received more than we gave you guys today. So we thank you for it. And see you soon, because this is just the beginning.
Wow. And thanks to our men for the support. We love them so much, and we wonder we should be together with them and work as a team in the future. Thank you very much.
One more time.
Thank you.
AC55 network.
The best.